Have you ever heard of releasing your blocks through healing for mediumship to increase your skill, to work on your past life traumas, your ancestral traumas, and that's going to solve all your problems? And you've done it, and all of a sudden, you're not John Edwards. It's because of how this work technically works. What happened to your ancestors, and I'm not saying your grandmother, because that's not, even though she potentially will be, she's not. So anyone older, further back than that, it actually will have very little impact on your work. It just won't. And this is why it has very little impact on your work. Your grandmother and what happened to your grandmother and your mother, like those generations, 100% it does. Right? So whatever happened to your grandmother, your mother, and you will impact not only your work, but who you are and how you show up and what your beliefs are and your fears. So it will impact there. Because when your grandmother was pregnant with your mother, as I said, when she was in there, the eggs, like at a point of her growth as a uterus, her eggs formed. You are one of her eggs. So whatever your grandmother experienced came through the grandmother's energy into her baby, and her baby absorbed it, which is mum, and that impacted the eggs, which ultimately were you. That impacts you. But what happened to great-gran will be far less. And whilst this sequence is true, even for her, the impact on you is far less. Because it is diluted with every generation something goes back. And when we think about how things technically work, what impacts you most in your work is what's occurred in this lifetime. That's what impacts you the most. All your experiences, because they're stored in your subconscious. And your subconscious is part of your toolbox in these processes. And so anyone that does courses with me knows that I run through the biological and energetic process of both psychic and mediumship. I teach it to the nth degree, so you understand how it actually works. What actually happens in your body, in your mind, in the components of certain sections of your brain that activate and do things. And then what lights up, I show you the brain scans of what happens. I tell you about the chemical changes that occur. That all comes in your learning. And so as you go through this process, what's in your subconscious is the biggest part that's going to be at play over and above your body and how your own frequency. What happened to great-gran or great-great-great-gran, each time it goes back, is diluted more and more on how it impacts you. So it's hardly anything. Do I say ignore that? No. Do I say make that your high priority? No. If you want to make something a high priority, look at you. You. What happened to you? Who parented you? Who gave you your belief systems? Why were they that did they give them to you? Because what happened in this lifetime to you is what will impact you the most. That's what you work on. And no matter what you are told or what you believe, you can never resolve everything. You just can't. And if you think you can, guaranteed, and I'm going to say guaranteed, without a doubt, your skills will plateau to the point where you have healed currently. It's the way it works. And to be elevated, you're going to get more life lessons. You're going to have more things that are going to trigger you that are within you that you don't realize, so you can heal and lift again. And this is what continues to happen. So if anyone tells you that you can sort everything out, question it. Don't just accept it. Trust what you feel, because that's not how it works. You can only heal what you're ready to heal. And it's an onion. You take that piece off, and then there's more. Then you take that piece off. And it's where you get to the depth of you and the depth of your soul and be able to release so much of this humanness, where we get to be more energy, less matter. So focus on your life. Focus on the beliefs that have been put in you. Understand them. Know that you arrived with no beliefs. You come with 2 fears, is what you truly come with. 2. Everything else has been given with you. One of them is a fear of heights. Anything else that you have a fear about is not yours. It is someone else's that they imposed on you by their caregiving or lack of. And that's their trauma, their beliefs that were put on them by whoever raised them. And that's the sequence of, I'm going to say, that generational element. But to go back multiple generations, 5, 6, and focus on a healing or a release of trauma in a timeline that is that far back is not going to help you. It's not. It doesn't actually change what's in your energy. You need to change what's in your energy, your belief systems. That's what you change, knowing that none of them were yours. They are all being gifted to you. You then, as you grew as a teenager, you then took on other people's belief systems when you got to school. So, primary school and high school, other people's belief systems, your friends, which then was basically your friends' family, because that's where they got theirs from, coaches and teachers. So you got all theirs, knowing that most of these people don't realize that their belief systems aren't theirs. So you got all those put into you. Then you went, this is mine now. Without consciously knowing, you then started to use that as your operating system. You can recode your operating system by questioning absolutely everything that you believe, that you feel. Does it sit right with me? Does it serve me? Is it making me be better, living the best I can? Yes or no? If it's yes, awesome. If it's no, then don't keep doing it. Stop, pause, consider the conversations that you are having with yourself. Do you want to keep having them? This journey, a spiritual journey, is not fun. There's some great bits about it, and it will change you and make you more But it's only if you do this work, it's only if you have this realization. This is part of a healing process. Healing process is three-part process: mind, body, spirit. This is part of it. With awareness and work and committing to it, you can shift and change, and it will impact not only your mediumship, it'll impact all your healing modalities if that's what you're doing. It will impact your psychic ability. It impacts everything. But this shows up the most in mediumship. This is where we have the biggest blocks in this space, particularly evidential mediumship, because you're under a level of scrutiny from the time that you open the mouth to the time that the session finishes. You are being judged by every single thing that you say and do. It's either right or wrong, right or wrong, right or wrong, right or wrong, the whole way through it. So it shows up here. So start taking an audit of your beliefs, of what holds you back, of why you don't do something, of why you say something to yourself. Audit your thoughts. That's where it starts. It's a big job. Take it slow. If you try and do this work too fast, whether you call it shadow work, whether you call it root cause healing, whether you call it ancestral trauma healing, if you do it too fast, you can create a significant psychological problem. I've seen it by unskilled practitioners creating bigger issues. Baby steps. One thought at a time. Unpack it, understand it, rewrite it, integrate it. Test that it's integrated. And then that's just the first part, because every part has a 3-stage. Then you would look at the body component of it. It's a big journey, but it's why you're here. Truly, it is. It's about learning and growing. If you love this topic, you want to know more, know that the Psychic Mediumship College has a whole healing program that is available to dive in. And we dive in on the first level, and it is that emotional aspect before we move into the other components of healing.